of Florida, this party. We're the party that Ralph's running on our ballot line. I can't tell you how great it is to be amongst Nader supporters, because I think if you're a Nader supporter, you realize that a lot of times you feel very isolated. And so to look out and see so many people here that actually get it is balm to my soul. If enough of us would get it, would understand what Ralph Nader's trying to do, then we really could just change the world. But, you know, you just have to do it like one person at a time and try to get as much as you can done, like he has. A lot of people have asked me why the Ecology Party, and why do we need another party, an Ecology Party? And my answer is just, well, look around you. I mean, we're in Florida. We have a beautiful, beautiful state. It's being completely destroyed. I don't know if you have, I don't think you have these up here, but in South Florida we have these things called UIC wells, which stands for Underground Injection Control. And these are when partially treated sewage is pumped under the aquifer that we all depend on for our water. And then supposedly it will stay there forever and we never have to worry about it. Kind of like carbon is supposed to be pumped underground for clean coal, which, you know, unfortunately, the sewage has begun to percolate up into our aquifer and pollute our reefs. So we have UIC wells, coral reef die-off. The Everglades are being choked by cattails at a rate of about 2 acres a day. We have nutrient-rich eutrophication, that's what it's called in Florida Bay. I believe you all have it here in Tampa Bay with the red tides. This is all our doing. Urban sprawl. We have a loss of our agricultural lands. We are losing food security because of that. We have a lot of work to do here in Florida. And in my opinion, the environment is a social justice issue. It's not just that you work on social justice issues and you're going to get a clean environment. I don't believe it will happen that way. I believe that you work to have a clean environment, and the things that you need to do to get a clean environment will engender social justice. So if you just look at the way the neocons have attacked environmentalism, it really gives you a good idea of how threatened they are by the environmental movement. They don't worry so much about, you know, let's say rights for poor people. That doesn't really worry about, they don't worry about that. They don't worry so much about gay rights. They don't worry so much about voter rights. But the environment, they hate environmentalists because actually we threaten the industrialized, corporatized growth industry that capitalism is. Not free enterprise. Do not confuse it with free enterprise. Anyway, we only have a finite capacity for the restoration of our biosphere, and an ecological sensibility will make everybody realize that we have a complete dependence. All human endeavor has a complete dependence on the preservation of biodiversity and to keep our systems, our ecosystems intact. We can't allow them to be destroyed because they are the way that we model what we need to do on an intact, working ecosystem. If we would do that, we would be okay, but we don't. We think we know better. We believe in the precautionary principle, which states that before any technology or basically any idea, anything, any process, anything is introduced, you use the precautionary principle to say, wait, we have to make sure that this is something that's going to work. And if we had used the precautionary principle with, for example, our economic system and these credit default swaps, we would certainly be in better shape than we are today. So we need to understand that if we can stop polluting and destroying our environment, it would mean that we would not pollute and destroy our bodies with toxic medicines, toxic chemicals, ag chemicals, our reproductive rights would be better because we wouldn't be having like all these estrogenic compounds that are destroying not only the animals but us and changing our reproductive functions and healthy children and all that. I just want to tell you one story that something that happened to me, and why I was saying it was so great to be in a room of Nader supporters. And that is, I was with friends of mine, and I was talking to them, and they were telling me how we had to vote for Obama because he's the best one, and even though he didn't really do everything they wanted to, we really needed to support him. And I said to them, but you know what, all you have is your vote. Your vote is the only way that you can show what you believe in. And if you don't use that vote, you do not use your vote to cast it for the person who is standing for what you believe in, how are you ever going to let people know what your beliefs are? And my friend turned around to me and said, in a most disdainful way, you know what? I don't have to show my beliefs by my vote. It's a job. I just do it. And I tell you, I was completely dumbstruck. I couldn't understand somebody being that cynical and that hypocritical, maybe is a word. Anyway, I went home and I got really, really angry because I realized that these yellow dog Democrats who do not care about casting their vote for the person that represents what they believe in, they're the reason that this whole system is in the scrape that it's in. Because they keep making sure that the Democrats have no reason to change. They have no reason to do what you want them to do. If they know that you will vote for them, they will not do what you want because they're being pulled in all kinds of directions by the corporate sponsors. So, I really encourage you not to fall prey to the hype of we've got to do this, McCain is horrible, we've got to get Obama in, because when you look at it, there's really not that much difference between them. So, it's my great, great pleasure as the representative here of the Ecology Party to introduce a man who inspired me to become involved in politics. Without Ralph Nader, there would be no Ecology Party. And I'm hoping that all of you will join. We have voters registration forms and we have flyers about why the Ecology Party. There's our website. Ralph Nader was responsible for the Clean Air and Clean Water Acts, OSHA, the Freedom of Information Act. We can thank him for having nutrition facts on food. Yeah. Seatbelts, airbags. There's very little in our lives that have not been positively affected by what Ralph Nader has spent his whole life working to do. Time magazine honored him as one of the 100 most influential Americans in the 20th century. And 2 generations of us have no idea what it would be like to have a world without Ralph Nader. So after he speaks, there will be a question and answer session and a book signing. And we urge you to stay around. There's going to be like a get out the vote thing after. But please welcome, as hard as you can, Ralph Nader.